What realistically do you think that President Biden can hope to accomplish in visiting Saudi Arabia?
An extraordinary amount, David, and thanks for having me on. Let's go back to what your viewers have just heard from Bloomberg the last few minutes on American and European financial markets. The crisis the stock market and the financial sector is in today is largely a result of the Ukraine war, the shortage of oil, and supply chain problems, particularly in grains. And what President Biden is doing is shoring up the entire Middle East. He'll visit Israel. Then in Saudi Arabia, he won't see just the Saudis, but all 6 Gulf emirates and kingdoms, the Jordanians, the Iraqis, and the Egyptians. This is all our allies in the Middle East. He's telling them, first of all, we need you explicitly to increase, you Gulf states, hydrocarbons exports. Secondly, we need you to stand with us against Russia so that we can bring this war and the economic impact of it, as well as the killing and the destruction, to an end. And thirdly, in return for that, I am buying into your agenda very strongly of containing and deterring Iran, which is the one thing that unites all 10 of these Arab countries and Israel.
So obviously we have OPEC and OPEC Plus with Russia. Does OPEC Plus survive this conflict with Russia over Ukraine?
I believe it will, but only if Russia recognizes that the Saudis and other states in the OPEC Plus, the GCC states, are going to have to accommodate President Biden to some degree. Biden and the United States, the U.S. military, is their 911, and they live in a dangerous area. They also know that while Russia may be their buddy on oil markets, Russia is an existential threat to the global order, including the global trading order that they have so benefited from. So in the end, I think President Biden, with this wise move, will be getting what he wants.
So President Biden would like to have increased oil production. What about some of the other issues that have been pending? I assume that they're not going to talk a lot about Mr. Khashoggi, which was one of the issues. But what about things like Yemen?
Yemen right now, there is a ceasefire. Biden will discuss with the 2 most involved countries, Saudi Arabia and the Emiratis, how to maintain that ceasefire, how to ensure that this moves to from a frozen conflict, which has been for the last several months, to some kind of resolution. That also serves to show that the Biden administration is willing to push back on Iran, because Iran is deeply involved in supporting an insurgency against the Yemen government and striking through its surrogates in Yemen, targets repeatedly in Saudi Arabia and the UAE. So this is an important part of it, but he'll also talk about Iran's influence in Iraq with the Iraqi government and all of the other states, the situation in Syria, and the overall risk of Iran going nuclear, which is on everybody's minds right now, beginning with the Israelis.